Hey, y'all, this is Sam Houston. You're listening live and in color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street. I got your package last week, just as you said I would. And man, I got to tell you, I can feel some differences, man. I really can. I'm always a skeptic of stuff like that, man. But the package of the Magic Mind that you sent me seems to be working, man.
That's awesome.
And let me tell you, I had a stressful, with an exclamation point, week. And so I've been on it a week, and I really think I handled it probably better than usual. And, you know, I would have to attribute it to whatever's working there and the focus and everything. I definitely tell a difference, man. I want to give myself, just because I am a skeptic, and I know people listening probably are too, I want to give it another week before I give my final thoughts on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
How are you feeling on it?
I mean, dude, it's kind of reached a point to where it's like my daily norm now, you know? So it's just like, I got to have that focus. I got to have that energy, and I got to have that less stress. And I mean, dude, it's really something that comes to me like now to where like I want this to be my new normal, you know, and that's just the way it is. And I mean, you know, like Magic Mind, like we said, is a mental performance shot, you know, and in addition to your daily routine, you know, it gets you focused, it gets you mentally clear, motivated, productive, while reducing stress. So, and the cool thing is, man, is it's something new that it's called mushroom nootropics and adaptogens, plus over 100% of your daily vitamin C and D per bottle. Remember when we were going through COVID, everybody was like, get your vitamin C, get your vitamin D. Yeah. So those are very important things to keep you healthy, you know, and it's 100% safe. And, you know, it's, to me, I love it, man. I'm a Magic Mind devotee now, and I'm in it to win it. So, yeah.
And you still put it in your coffee, right?
Yeah. So what I do is I'll make a morning coffee, and then I'll actually pour it in my coffee and ice it down. And so, yeah, it's kind of like an Americano, cafe latte, whatever, but it's a Magic Mind latte.
You know me, man, how I do. I'm shooting it straight.
Right. Just straight down the pipe. Yep. Yeah. I love it. I mean, yeah, of course, man. I mean, dude.
I'm chasing with my coffee.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are you noticing about your, you know, like, okay, so you were a coffee drinker, right? You were a coffee drinker. Yeah. So what are you noticing?
I'm not a huge coffee guy. Now I do have my one cup in the morning. That's it. I don't go more than that because I'm very sensitive to caffeine.
Gotcha. Okay. But are you noticing it's like a different caffeine? It's like a cleaner caffeine or something.
Yeah. Just that sustained energy that they talk about where you don't crash and all that kind of stuff. But again, I'll drink that one cup in the morning, and I can't really tell you whether I ever crash. I mean, I get tired sometimes, but since I've been taking this, I don't feel, you know, I have been a little more productive around the house. Not that I'm a lazy fuck and just sit on the couch all day, but, you know, I've been outside doing a few things that I can, as far as like, we bought some new things, you know, spring stuff for the outside of the house and doing some of that.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times, also because I'm still somewhat healing and still somewhat injured and things, you know, so I do what I can, but I definitely notice a difference. And like I said, I just want one more week, because if I'm going to plug this on the show, I want to know 100% that I'm telling people it's right. And so far I feel that way, but one more week and I'm going to give my final synopsis.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, dude, like, here's the thing, you know, they have a limited time offer. You can use it now. They can try it. It'll get you 48% off your first subscription or 20% off the one-time purchase. And just give it a try. You know, here's the thing, man. Live and in Color
is definitely the way to go. I mean,
it is, dude.
It's a no-brainer.
Right, because you can cancel at any time. You can pause it. Let's say you're in a different place. You can't get to your mail. You can pause it. But either way, Live It in Color 20 gets you either the 48% off the first subscription or 20% off that one-time purchase at checkout. And you can claim it at magicmind.com/liveandincolor, man. That's hard to forget. All the listeners of our podcast, that one is hard to forget, I would hope.
Yeah, sure. Check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to Magic Mind for being our sponsor too. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I do want to plug something else real quick before we get on to the show. Is May the 11th, there is a pretty much a Memphis convention reunion type deal in Evansville. It's like, I think it's titled, what's the title? Do you know? It's Lawler and something.
Jerry Lawler's reunion.
Yeah, something I can't think of the name.
Evansville reunion. Something.
Yeah, but I am not going to be able to make that. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've had a ton of people send me messages on Facebook and social media of, hey man, why are you not there, man? Blah blah blah. Well, I was in talks with the promoter Jeff. I was talking to him about being there until I realized what the date was, and that happens to be Michelle, my girlfriend, her daughter's graduation is that night. So that would be super heat for me if I ditched the graduation and went to Evansville. So
dude, heat of the year. Yeah.
There's no other reason, that ain't got nothing to do with any politics or anything like that. It's just the fact that I can't make it because, like I said, we were talking about it and just working it out. And then I was like, what day? Oh, shit, I can't do it, man. So anyway, that's what that is. And for anybody that was thinking it might be something different, that's not the case.
Not the case. Believe what you want, but that is not the case, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
just making sure that everybody knew. So I got a ton of messages about it. So I'm just airing it out right there. So today we got Sam Houston.
Man, do you know Sam? Have you met Sam before?
I've met Sam at a convention quickly. So yeah.
Okay.
Haven't known him for years or anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I'm excited, dude. Second generation star, I mean, had a great career, had a long run there for a while, and family business. Exactly. And just, he's one of those guys that I know that George, our buddy George Weingroff, worked with him some very early on when he was first getting into the business. So it'll be fun to talk to him about that. And man, I know this guy's probably got a million stories, so I'm just gonna listen mostly.
He's lived a life now, let me tell you.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think I'm excited, and I kind of feel like this one is part of a puzzle piece that you have to complete to have a great podcast, is have Sam Houston on,
And I know he told me on the phone, this is while we were booking this, he's doing something really cool, man, for Black Bart, who we just had on last week. So we're going to talk to Sam about what he's doing for Bart, and hopefully some people can also help Bart out. So
that's awesome, man.
At any rate, we will address all of that and much, much more when we come back from this break. And I hope you survived the break. Y'all been doing good.
We'll be right back after these messages with Sam Houston.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live It in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys. Once again, you survived that commercial break. You stuck with us, and we're so happy to have you. Always happy to have you. And today I got a man that has been around the block. He's got some stories I know, and I can't wait to hear him, man, because this guy has done a lot in the business. It seems like to me he's doing some really cool stuff now. How you doing, Sam Houston?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Wolfie D. This is great, man. I just love getting in touch with the fans and talking to them and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
and this gives me an opportunity, because I stay busy all the time. Anybody who used to know me knew I drank a lot. Well, now idle hands. I haven't had a drink in almost 15 years, so I'm doing really good. But I keep myself busy, and I'm pretty fortunate right now, so I'm able to help out, when people don't have as much and stuff like that. These house repairs I've been working on and everything else. Oh yeah, I do a lot of stuff. I can't just sit around.
Yeah,
I make tables. I do all kinds of furniture. Yeah, I just have fun with it, though. God gave me every day. I should have died several times over. So every day to me is a blessing. And I want to encourage everybody else. Every day to you is a blessing too. You're not promised this.
No.
You're not promised tomorrow. So make the most of what you got today and be thankful for what you got. I crawled back from a cockroach infested. All I had was a Foot Locker, cockroach infested, rusted out Foot Locker with 2 pairs of state underwear and a bar of soap and a maximum security disciplinary camp prison.
Oh,
wow.
Dude, I mean, people need to give thanks for everything they got.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be preaching like that, but
okay.
I'm just thankful for every day that I have above ground and stuff.
Amen.
And you can't beat it. I mean, this life is a gift, and it's a gift for us to make as much as we can out of it. Some of us choose to go into acting. Some of us choose to go into different kinds of work. Some of us choose to, go into pro wrestling. I just happen to choose wrestling. So I got to go around the world, see a lot of things. I mean, dude, I'm a professional wrestler, and I opened up for The Who twice at the world's biggest party. Oh, yeah, at the Houston Astrodome. In Houston, Texas, and Reunion Arena in Dallas for the Who's show at Texas Stadium. Oh yeah, we got to wrestle right before they came on and performed at the world's biggest party. Yeah, it was me. I wrestled Tugboat. Taylor Duggan was there. Randy Savage was there. I think Wyndham was there. It was an awesome deal. It was like 4 matches, but I got to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, awesome. I was almost eating on my travels of me. I was almost eaten by cannibals twice in New Guinea.
oh my goodness. Is that now, a sound bite, or are you telling me the truth?
No, I'm telling you the truth. And I think Joe Biden must have heard about this, and that's where his cannibal story came from. But yeah.
It sounded pretty good. It sounded pretty good.
Ooh, yeah. But this is my life has been a great adventure, dude. I mean, I can't be more blessed. I sit back and I look at some of this stuff and I, just reliving the memories. I hadn't been in the ring in 7 years, right? And I rolled, I'd been in prison and, gone on my journey because I was a bad alcoholic. I'm not going to lie or, anybody got any questions about it? Hey, pipe in and, say it. Yeah. But, I was a bad alcoholic. And then, had some hard times, went through prison, everything. But I've got almost 15 years sober. August the 29th will be the day that I chose. But it's actually August the 28th was I had my last drink.
Gotcha.
But anyway, I squirrel a lot. I'm sorry, guys. But, I hadn't been in the ring. I got out of prison and I was on parole and everything, and they allowed me to go to the CACs. My parole officer did in Las Vegas. Okay. And I was like, dude, I'm going to be in casinos. That's
Cauliflower Alley, right?
Yeah.
For the listeners, I knew what it was, but for the listeners, I just want to make sure.
It's a great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing that helps wrestlers. They really do. Wrestlers don't have an insurance policy or anything like that. Well, you can't get covered. And, you make good money sometimes and sometimes you don't. And sometimes you squander through that money and you're left with nothing and, you're left on your last hopes. Well, the Cauliflower Alley Club has been really great at coming in and picking some of these guys up. you know, and helping them out. Well, they gave me an opportunity to get back in the ring. I didn't feel like my career should be over after, you know, turned 50 and stuff like that, you know. And I feel like because of the prison, I didn't, you know, I hadn't had my last match, and I still haven't had my last match. I just turned 60 and I'm wrestling this weekend. But
oh, goodness.
Oh yeah, I love it. Anyway, but I hadn't been in the ring in 7 years, and I wrestled Sin Bodhi in Las Vegas.
And we were one of my old tag team partners when we were with TNA. Good.
Yeah, good. I mean, good gracious, what a guy. Anyway, after 15 minutes, and we wrestled. We had a match, but you know, I didn't have to do none of that. You know, flipping and all that. You know, way up, stupid stuff up in the air and all that kind of crap. You know, I just the biggest thing I think and I kept going back to it was my arm drag. You know, I throw a beautiful arm drag.
I remember.
And I guess people appreciated it the more and more because I was able to keep going back to the arm drag and control the match. When I rolled out of the ring, okay, I've had several world titles, okay, and several regional titles. I've had a bunch of titles.
Yeah.
Anyway, what meant more to me than some of those. I rolled out of the ring after about 15 minutes, and Chris Christopherson, the Highwayman.
Yeah,
wow.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Chris Christopherson was sitting front row. He stood up. He got right in my face, and he said, "You're the real shit, man."
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Dude, I was blown away. I was like, I was trying to say something smart, but you know, nothing smart. I was like, all I could think of, I was the greatest line ever in a country song was, "I'd trade all my tomorrows for a single yesterday."
Oh,
you know,
man.
Dude,
Nice.
that's the best line in a song ever. You know, if you want to. So anyway, I was like, dude, that's, you know, so every time I think I've gotten to a really high point or the best I'll ever do at something, you know, the big man upstairs, he gives me something a little bit more. And so I'm thankful for that every day. But anyway, hey, I told you I wanted to talk about Bart for a little bit, too.
Man,
And, you know,
I wanted to talk about the things you're doing for him. For the listeners, set this up now, man. You and Bart had some classic battles throughout the territories, man. Talk about some of that, and then I want you to tell the people what's going on with Bart and what you're trying to do for him.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, shoot. I have to go back to a little bit before I started wrestling when I had my tonsils taken out. I had a surgery when I was 17. I was supposed to have my tonsils taken out. They messed up. I flatlined on the table for 2 minutes. I had a tunnel experience. I ended up in a coma for 2 weeks, unresponsive, you know, in a coma. During that coma, I was having out-of-body experiences and stuff. It was horrendous. Yeah. They nicked my pharynx, filled me up with gas, the whole 9 yards.
Hey, can you tell me real quick, and I don't mean to cut you off, man, but you just said something that kind of sparked my big attention, is when you said out-of-body experience. Tell me a little bit about that, because that really intrigues me.
Dude, I was in a coma. Okay, well, first of all, when I was in the hospital, I went in. They went to do the surgery, but they nicked my pharynx when they stuck the tube down the back of my throat so I could breathe. They nicked my pharynx. Well, the next step they do is they drop the balloon down there, and then they give you the gas. Well, when they give you the gas, you know, it's forced gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, your natural breathing gets rid of the gas, or it comes out that valve.
Right.
Well, what it did was it opened that puncture up, and it inflated me like a tire with that anesthesiology gas. Oh yeah, my head was as big as a basketball.
What the?
You know, my dad, when he got in there, my body cavity was like, it was huge. You know, they were pushing. They said the gas was all in my skin tissue and muscle tissue, and it was around my heart and lungs and everything else. Well, when they cut me on I was coherent. I was in and out of it, but the lady said, "What's he back for? He's already been here." because they, do the surgeries. They wheel me back in. They said, they told my dad he's got 30 minutes maybe. My dad said, get him up there now. And they got me in there. They turned my head. They said they nicked his pharynx. And I remembered that. Well, then they cut me, and then I went out. I had a tunnel experience. I woke up. I was immersed in this, just this yellow, awesome, bright light. There was no pain. There was not any. I felt like I could do everything. I was joy. It was contentment. It was everything. If that's what I know where I'm going when this life is over. So this life is a gift, but I can't wait to get to the other place because I'm saved. So anyway, when they resuscitated me, I remember how mad I was. And then they put me in the. After they pulled me out of surgery, they told my folks he's in a coma, and we don't know. They never asked my folks to leave because they knew they messed up. They never asked, how you can only go into that ICU for 20 minutes at a time every 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
My sister, Rockin' Robin, my mother, and my father stayed in the intensive care room with me the whole 2 weeks I was in there.
Wow.
They would take breaks. One of them would go shower and clean up and then come back, but they never left me alone in that hospital room. Wow. Well, anyway, the out-of-body experiences, I was in a coma for 2 weeks. I was actually sitting on my headboard looking down at my body, looking down at my flesh. I could see my mom, dad, they're all having conversations and talking. I could see and hear everything. I just could not, communicate. I couldn't interact with them. I was on a different plane, a different level.
That's insane, man. I just watched a movie, and I don't know if watching it would upset you, trigger you, whatever, but it was a guy that was having surgery, and the anesthesia doesn't work, and he's feeling everything and all this kind of stuff. It's a crazy movie called Awake. So if you ever want to check that out, or the list.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm open to anything, Yeah. Hey, everything's a learning experience.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. I've got a dream. I had a dream one time where when my friend died, that was something similar to that, where it's like he came to me in a I can't say it was a dream because it was way different than a dream, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I know exactly about what you're talking about. Charlie Norris came by and visited me and took my false teeth out of my mouth and glued them to my hair. I'll have to get into that, but let me get back to the BART thing.
Yeah, the BART thing.
I was in the hospital from April the 2nd, or actually April the 2nd till August the 13th. Mm-hmm. Okay, they were having a show at the Superdome extravaganza, and I wanted to be there. And the doctors told me I did not eat food all that time till I couldn't. They wouldn't let me out of the hospital until I could eat food. I dropped from 230 pounds down to 128 pounds. It was horrible. Anyway, I finally, my mom made some rice with some pineapple and hamburger meat, and I got a few spoonfuls of that down, and they let me leave. Well, and they sewed me up. The day I left was the day they sewed the incisions on the sides of my neck up. If you look at pictures of me, you'll see the scars. It's 16 on one side and 18 on the other.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the business could have used that. No. Anyway, but I was a big wrestling fan. My whole thing was I was going to be a wrestler. Yeah. And then my dad tells me, no, he said, this business is not for you no more. He said, I've lost you once. I'm not going to lose you again. And, I'm being told by him I can't wrestle. And then, I'd gone through everything.
Yeah.
And then, so that night, we went to the Superdome and everything, and Watts was there. And, Watts always gave me problems because I wasn't one of the boys if I was hanging around in the dressing rooms. But I was always getting them Cokes and this, that, and the other, bringing their jackets back. I was a timekeeper. I was a ring crew. I did everything for the company. But he's, Watts was a little bit pushy and bossy and stuff. And I understand why, because he's got like he's got all these unruly athletes, and he's got to keep in check.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just trying to stay out of the way. Well, Watts and McGurk, when they split up way earlier, and Watts ended up with Mid-South, when Leroy's getting ready, closing his thing down, Watts took back over Oklahoma and opened the territory all back up again. Mm-hmm. So one of the pieces of talent that he'd gotten was Hangman Rick Harris, which is Black Bart.
Yeah.
Right.
And, Watts brought them all in to, put his talent over and everything like that. Well, that was the first time I met Black Bart,
mm-hmm.
And we sat there and we talked, and he's wrestling against Iron Mike Sharp, and Iron Mike Sharp beat him.
Right.
And I asked Bart one question. I said, hey, because I follow the wrestling, the office, and the political and this. So I said, what's going on? I said, is it worth it? Mm-hmm. And he looked me dead square in the eye, and he goes, dang it, I'm wrestling here in the Louisiana Superdome. Mm-hmm. Dang right, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So then I knew I was going to do it. So it took me a year to get my weight back on and everything. And then I had a good relationship with Dusty. I talked to Dusty one night in New Orleans and told him, I said, my dad's taking the business away from me. I said, but I'm going to do it. And he said, well, if you come down to Florida, I went down to Florida, and I didn't find out till recently that J.J. Dillon was very instrumental, because my dad had called everybody and told them not to book me.
Dang.
So J.J. told him, look, he's here every night. He's got his bag. He's ready. He's done everything. I mean, George Weingroff. I got stretched by George Weingroff,
Dude, that's one of my buddies.
That. Yeah.
But I came back, and George, the greatest thing George did was he helped teach me how to wrestle by feel. Mm-hmm. Instead, because George was legally blind,
right?
And that definitely gave me a leg up.
Yeah.
But and plus I've been around this business all my life. Well, I finally got the shot, and I started okay. Well, later on, after I was in Florida for 3 months, I came up to I got fired at a Boxcar Willie concert, the first annual Orlando Jamboree, because I was imitating Dusty, and he walked up beside me on stage.
Oh, man. Can we hear a little bit of that real quick?
Yeah.
Please. Okay. Dusty had, he did the first annual Orlando Jamboree, and he was calling, so Boxcar Willie was the headliner, and all the baby faces had to show. And it was in Eddie Graham Sports Arena. Well, only 50 people bought tickets. And, but hey, there was lots of liquor, and I'm a young kid. Well, anyway, I ended up on the stage. I had to pick up the band, and I'm drinking and partying with the band and everything while the fiddle player and the whole. So I get up there and start dancing on the stage. I think, well, heck, it ain't much of a concert, but let's turn this thing into the biggest party we ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping off the stage, dancing with the little old ladies and stuff. And, oh, gosh, I danced up by the fiddle player, and I stopped and I looked, and everybody was, play the fiddle, Sam, play the fiddle. And Puddin gave me his fiddle, and I grabbed that thing. Robin, my sister, plays the violin. I don't play anything. Yeah. And boy, I went across that fiddle a couple of times. Give the fiddle back, Sam. Give the fiddle back. I went back to dancing and everything. And so Mike Davis was standing on the stage, and I got in front of him, and I was like, listen, Beatles, this might be this is going to be the biggest party you ever seen, baby. And I'm doing my Dusty and everything. And Mike Davis's eyes got real big. I said, what's wrong, baby? And Dusty looks at me and he goes, you finished tomorrow night. Well, it was Christmas break. That was the last night for Christmas break. And he told me, he said, you start in the Carolinas on January the 2nd. So I came up to here to the Carolinas, and then, oh gosh, when I got here to the Carolinas and everything, there was like 5-6 bookers and stuff, Dory and Ernie Ladd and Gary Hart, and everybody, Johnny Weaver booked Toronto, Gene Anderson booked the Underneath Talent, it was just, the Carolinas were in a mess.
Yeah.
And Dusty started coming up. Well, when Dusty would come up, because, I've known these guys all my life. I used to give Wahoo and Dusty rides when I was 14, 15 years old, to give them rides to the airport, whatever.
Yeah.
I worked for the company.
Right.
So anyway, so Dusty would come up and I'd tell him what was going on around, while we were riding. And because Dusty would pay me just to be his driver. Because Crockett was only booking me 1 or 2 nights a week, whatever they needed. Yeah. And then anyway, Dusty come up and things started changing. He brought the guys he wanted in here. And then I guess I was getting over. I had a quite a fan following, for an underneath guy, because I always fought back. And see, that's what the guys don't understand now. They take something, boom, boom, and they just lay there. But no, if you ain't alive, why should I cheer for you?
Right.
If you ain't trying, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I think. So anyway, but I started with a fan fall. I mean, just building a base, I guess, with, and it was grandpas and grandmas and, and all kinds of stuff. And the young guys hated me because their girlfriends liked me,
Right. So, amen to that.
Yeah. So anyway, I wrestled in Fayetteville, and Dusty was wrestling Tully in a barbed wire match. And Baby Doll threw Tully her spiked bracelet. Yeah. Well, Tully hit Dusty with that. Well, when he hit Dusty with that, I was sitting there watching. I got to run down to the ring. So I ran down to the ring, and when I ran to the ring, he hit me with that bracelet. I don't know what kind of blow it was, but the spikes on it, I got 27 stitches over my eye. It was like my whole eye just dropped, and it was just covered. Well, at that moment, you could have heard a pin drop anywhere, and that's one of those scary moments, like one of those riot moments where they call it killing heat.
Yeah.
Thank God for the Andersons and everything to come down and get Tully and Baby Doll back to the dressing room and stuff like that. Well, it took them a while to sew me up. And then the next night, boy, I was in Spartanburg, and Dusty pulled me on TV and made me take my hat off. Well, when he did that, I mean, just everything that went through him and his interview and the whole 9 yards, it seems like the territory just started exploding.
Really?
All over the place. And it was great because he had Dusty and Magnum, the 2 top guys and everything like that. You can't hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't get, so if you can't hurt them, it's going to be hard to get heat on them, but you can get heat on this young white meat baby face. Oh my God. I got beat up in parking lots. I got a broken arm. Life is good though, But anyway, so the people are going, crazy for this new young talent and everything, and who to come across than Black Bart with Ron Bass.
Big nasty Black Bart.
Yeah, but when I got in the ring with Bart, I didn't it was kind of like, hey man, I'm here, and I'm here because of you. And so when I got out in the ring with Bart, I gave him everything I had, and he did with me too. And we were, oh gosh, we had matches that everybody else on the card could not follow.
Really?
One of those was in Baltimore. Bart describes it in his book. Oh, yeah. I want to let your listeners know he's got a book out. So
yeah, we had him on last week, and we plugged that good for him, man.
Oh, wow. Anyway, we had a match in Baltimore, and I kid you, I went to Dusty. I said, last time we were here, I said, we were in the semifinal. I said, in a Texas death match. I said, you got us in a regular match. I said, how we follow that? He goes, follow that the best way you know how. It's like, okay. Dude, we beat up state athletic commissioner. We beat up everybody. The people were spent, physically spent. I mean, you got nothing. Nobody got nothing out of them. They were spent. They were tired. They were ready to go home after our match.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and that happened a couple of times. Well, anyway, me and Bart, oh gosh, we had some great matches, and Crockett made him my tag team partner. Well, Bart's just so much fun to hit anyway. Even when he's my tag team partner, I'd tag him or something like that. And as soon as he'd get in the ring with me, I'd nail him, and then I'd get out of the ring. I just wanted to hit him one time every match. Didn't matter if he was my partner or not. So anyway. Bart, oh gosh, Bart, well, I guess you know that he's got cancer and stuff.
Right.
You know, and he let me know that. Well, I didn't know that at WrestleMania when it was in Dallas, we were doing that WrestleCon thing, and I had rented a table because I don't know, I just don't. I have nothing against the vendors, but don't short sell me. So anyway, I rented my own table. Well, they told me that I could have 2 people at the table, and I was like, okay. Well, I called Bart up and asked him if he'd like to come sit at my table with me. And he did. And one of the things that broke my heart was the pair of boots that Dusty Rhodes had given to him, and Dusty's gone now. He was but somebody helped Bart out with $1,000 buying those boots from him. Wow. And that was cool, but it was worth so much more. I'll be honest with you.
Maybe even priceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I got
a pair of boots on there somebody bought out of Slammers Wrestling Gym. I did a pair of my boots. They're from 30 years ago. I heard they were up to like $15,000.
Damn.
They're on eBay or something. I don't know. I talked to the fellow once, and that was when he was trying to sell them for $12,500. But it's like, not that I don't want them, because I got another bootmaker now. Make me another pair. So, anyway, but it just hurt. So I wanted to do something. Bart's got cancer, and he had to go through the chemotherapy, and and he's not as blessed as I am. So I wanted to do something to help. So what I've done now is I had Bart get 30 cowbells.
Yeah.
And he made 30 bull ropes. Now, one bull rope is mine, and one bull rope is his. The rope's a little bit different, so, that way we know.
Gotcha.
But the other 28 have been autographed by Bart on one side and me on the other.
Cool.
It'll have an 8x10 picture of one of our more brutal matches with both his and my autograph also on it.
That's cool.
And it comes in a potato sack, and that's for like the guys, the aficionados in the business. It comes in a potato sack with my picture on one side and Bart's on the other. And there's only going to be these. Well, now it's down to 22, I think. But I'm letting these go, and this is all that will be. There will be no more, but these are to go for $1,000 a piece or more to Black Bart's cancer.
Cool. Yeah.
So you make a donation, $1,000 donation, you'll get this, and I tell you, it's not going for anything less than $1,000, and I don't care if it takes 20 years from now to get the money. That
So where do the people go to buy one of those or donate to buy one of those? Where do they get?
Well, reach out to me. Reach out on my Facebook. Either there's Sam Houston or Michael Sam Houston.
Okay. All
the lady, I get a little political on my stuff because I see stuff that's wrong. I did prison time, Jack. I can say what I want,
Right.
Nobody's going to take my rights away from me. I ain't giving nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I got something I want to say, I'm going to say it. And
say it, brother.
So I get a little bit political. And in the joint, what you're doing, all you have is to watch the news. Well, if they're misinforming you on this, on the news and stuff like that, then what's really going on? You know, so and I'm trying to, if you notice, if people on Facebook, if they notice if it's political or something like that, I really never comment on it. I just post it for you to look at and make your own decision.
Yeah. That's you know, I'm kind of in agreement with you on that. That's kind of my stance.
You know, I think it's something that, you know, if I think it's something that you need to be aware of, you know, I'm going to tell you. Anyway. I mean, we
could probably have a real deep conversation about this, Sam.
But here, for the end of the conversation, I'll just go ahead and cut right to the chase. We don't get out of this alive.
Right.
None of it.
Right.
We don't get out of this alive. So make sure you're right.
Yeah.
At the end. You know, and make sure you're serving the right master.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's my advice. And the best thing that I can do for anybody is pray for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I do. But the best thing that I can do is pray for anybody. And that if anybody wants to know how I live my life and how I worship, I will tell you, I will show you, I will help you. You know, but I'm not going to force it down your throat.
Right.
Or anything, you know, because I'm already saved. I know I'm saved. I know where I'm going. If you want to ridicule, if you want to do a finger point and all this, that, and the other, go ahead. You're not worth my time.
Right.
If you're looking for the fight. Right. Now, if you got me mad enough to fight, God help you.
That's incredibly, just as a person, it does tell who you are, man, for what you're doing for Bart and for the other things that you're doing for people in general, man. I mean, when you give back, I mean, you know that, man. There's just nothing like that, and it's called paying it forward. You know what I mean?
Well,
you don't have to brag about it. You don't have to tell nobody and film it when you do it and post it on Facebook.
Right,
just
exactly.
Do it because you're a good person, man. Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Saturday, May the 11th, 2024, the biggest pro wrestling event in Columbia, Tennessee's history, Muletown Mania Fan Fest. Over 50 wrestlers from the past and present going to be there for the meet and greet from 2:30 to 5:30. Also that night, TriStar Wrestling has a huge card already signed. Doors open at 6 for that. Bell time will be 7 p.m. You're not going to want to miss it. A huge card already signed. Also, Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling will be in the house that night doing a Q&A with the Devils, the Wild Boys, and the Mortons from 4:30 to 5:30. Also, you have Kayfabe. They're your toy collectibles and wrestle memorabilia dealers. They're going to be in the house. Also, we've got the Devil's Disciples. Mephisto and Dante will be there. The Wild Boys, Ben Jordan and Steve Neely. The Monster, Forsaken. The Falks, Tony Falk and LT Falk. The Morton brothers, Steve and Shane Morton. The Smoking Buds, Cody and David Morton. Jerry Lynn and Virginia Morton. Hot Rod Biggs. Jeff the Crippler Daniels and Dominique will be there. Debbie Combs, Lady Superstar. Sunny Street will be in the house. Luscious Quentin Charisma. One half of Booty Call, Brian Turner. Mad Max. Cowboy Billy Montana, Scott Spade and Mistress Misery, Superstar Mikey Dunn, Devious G, Johnny Bandana and Ryder Anderson, The New Era, Tavon Jordan, D'Amico Graves, the one and only Majestic, Mr. Entertainment, Yukon Jack, yours truly, Pat Dooley, DJ R, Danny Pig, The Voice, Kane D, Pretty Boy, Preston Adams, plus many, many more. The meet and greet will be $15 if you buy your ticket in advance, $20 at the door. TriStar Wrestling that night, $10 if you buy your ticket in advance, $12 if you buy it at the door. This is a huge night, Saturday night, May the 11th, 2024, in Columbia, Tennessee, at the National Guard Armory at 844 North James Campbell Boulevard. It's going to be the place to be for the best wrestling action around. Come and meet some of your local stars, some of your favorite people, some of your least favorite. People from your past and present, this is going to be an opportunity that you're not going to want to miss. This is going to be well worth the price of admission alone just for the meet and greet. And then TriStar Wrestling that night, biggest wrestling event ever signed in Columbia, Tennessee.
Check this out. Okay, in I think it was 2011, 2012. So I was at J. Levy Dabadee. Okay, I was in the maximum security right after the judge gave me my time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I ended up staying in Baton Rouge at the parish jail for a couple months until they could ship me out to the maximum security disciplinary camp because I was a security threat, is what they said. Now, I'd been a model prisoner in the whole 9 yards, gotten several altercations when it filtered through that I was a wrestler. I got in 7 of them in 1 week. But thank you, Dean Malenko. And a Texas Cloverleaf. All I did was an ankle pick every time. Ankle pick right into the Texas Cloverleaf. When I got out of prison in 2013 and I went to my brother's induction into the Hall of Fame, I walked right up to Dean Malenko. I shook his hand and I thanked him very much. You know, I said, your move saved my ass many times.
That is hilarious. The Cloverleaf was over in the prison grounds.
Yeah, dude. You make an inmate cry, another inmate decides he don't want to mess with you. Anyway,
man, hey, listen, I'm fixing to hit something right here, man. You've had the heat on me for 30 minutes, man. I've got to tag out to my co-host and make the hot tag to Jimmy Street. Come in and save me.
Okay.
Buddy. All right, Jimmy, it's time for the hot tag.
Hey, yeah. Thank you for the hot
sorry,
tag.
Jimmy.
No, you're good. You did bring it up a little bit earlier, and I want to really touch on it a little bit more because Wolfie has known him forever. He seasoned Wolfie in several instances, especially when they would work together. And then he's become a great friend of mine as well as George Weingroff. We would love to hear more about that time, especially stretching.
Oh, well, okay. I got my weight back up and everything. And, cause my dad had told me that the wrestling business wasn't for me. So I was fighting all the way. I got my weight back up to about 230 pounds, 227, 220, but it was a chubby fat, cause I did all this in like a year. So, I had wrestled since like I was in second grade. I'd been going to wrestling camps and everything else. I wrestled in high school in the 9th grade and then in the 10th grade. But then my sister was kidnapped and I had to get off the wrestling team. Mm-hmm. And then in the 11th grade and 12th, I didn't go to 12th grade. 11th grade, Broadmoor High School didn't have a wrestling team, so that didn't happen. But anyway, I was a good wrestler, very good. And so I knew, the protocol was that you had to pass, to be able to get in there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't just let anybody in the ring and say, oh, okay, you got to get in there with somebody and you got to show them what you got.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, George Stretch. He toyed with it. I was good. I was wrestling amateur, and then he would stop and he'd show me some pro stuff. And then when he would go back to like he was going for pro, and then I would stand up for pro, and then he'd shoot down in the amateur, boom, sweep my legs or something like that. Boom, boom, boom. I was bumping all over the place, and that boy, he was putting me in stretching holds, and he was twisting me and turning me. Oh, I didn't cry tears, but his wife did hear some hollering. I'm not going to lie. So he says, well, he goes, I guess he thought that was going to be and then we got out of the ring and left. And then, the next couple of days I went back up. I said, okay, we're ready to go again. And he said, really? And I was like, yeah. And I got in the ring with him this time, and we wrestled. And he couldn't sugar me.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could have hurt me. Mm-hmm. But he was he was wrestling legally. He wasn't breaking points and stuff like that. He wasn't trying to, kill me.
Right.
But George got out of the ring, walked over to my dad, and he said, "He's ready." And my dad said, "This business is not for you." You know. So gosh, it was about 5 or 6 weeks after that, so when I left home and went to Florida.
Gotcha. Yeah. And George has told us that it was around the same time that he was also training Jason, was Dewey Robertson's son, the missing Prince. Do you remember? Was that around the same time?
Jason was after I left.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
You know, whatever happened to him?
George said he didn't. He was like, Sam made it, Jason didn't. You know, that's kind of what he said. So, yeah.
Well, shoot, yeah, because Jason, I come home from school and there's a whole family living with us, and it's all missing links.
They all had their face painted, right? Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Okay. Yeah, it was, George told us the story that he and his wife Rita went and met them at a nudist colony that they were living at one time. I didn't know they were nudists, so I wasn't going to bring that up. But since I walked in from school, and the whole family's living in my living room. Yeah. Oh gosh. You have those moments in life. Yeah. But anyway, let me tell you about the cannibals real fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So, in 1985, I went to Australia and for Crockett, and then so me, Manny Fernandez, Don Cornudo, me and Don Cornudo swam in shark-infested waters. We were setting the alarms off. Jack, I'm going to tell you, I got up on top of the water and I ran that 75 yards back to shore. So I met Larry O'Day and Ron Miller. Ron Miller was the Australian champion. Larry was his tag team partner, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. So they bring us over there. One night we're wrestling in this castle, and somebody didn't show up. But to go ahead and use me, they said, okay, well, we're going to make you the ring announcer tonight. I'm like, dude, I'm a wrestler. Come on. I'm going to have it. So, yeah, you're going to be the ring announcer. I was like, So I go to all the guys to get their information. So we're in the dressing room, and Larry O'Day goes, he said, Ron Miller, he's the big thing here. He goes, I'm just his tag team partner. I said, how do you want me to announce you? Just say his tag team partner. So that's what I did. I said, the Australian heavyweight champion, blah, 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 Ron Miller, and the people go nuts. And then I said, and his tag team partner, and Larry's jumping back and forth, and I never said his name. And he's like looking at me, left him hanging. Anyway, years later, he hooked up with Terry Priest, and I guess they were still doing stuff in Australia and everything. Well, Terry Priest lived in New Guinea. The Australian government wanted New Guinea because New Guinea was a fertile land. That's where they film all the Jurassic Park movies and stuff, the big jungles and everything. Anyway, and Australia's a great big old desert. So the Spear Cigarette Company was the sponsor. And the Spear cigarette is about the size of a Black and Mild. But it's rolled in the Australian recycled daily newspaper. It's still got the ink on the paper. You can see, you can read the words on cigarettes. Really? So they were killing I think they were killing the natives off, getting them addicted to the Spear cigarettes, and then all the stuff in their lungs or whatever, the lead poison and dye or whatever. So anyway, we fly over to Port Moresby, New Guinea. Okay, when we got off the little plane because we flew into Australia and then from Australia over to Port Moresby. When we landed at the airport, we get off that little school bus looking like little plane, and there's 3 great big huge totem poles right there. Like, wow, this is kind of cool. I'd seen totem poles on the reservation and stuff like that before, but nothing this big. Right. And I turn over, and there's a guy running up a coconut tree. I was like, my gosh, what's going on? So then the radio station picks us up and they're driving us back to the hotel. They take us in this big hotel. It's nice and marble and just beautiful. It's like, boy, this place had to cost a lot, you know? And they got it caged in with wrought iron fencing all the way on top of the mountain. Yeah. So they take us to a big party and everything. Now, we can't smoke in the inside of this hotel. They take us to this big party with a radio station, the Crown Royal, and boy, that was my thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I was getting quite inebriated, intoxicated, and just having a good time. I go outside to smoke a cigarette, and here comes a guy. He's about 5'2". Now, imagine Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
Yeah.
But imagine him at Micromania or whatever, 5'2".
What do you want me to imagine, Sam Houston?
Yeah, no. This guy's walking down the street. He's wearing a Tarzan loincloth. He's got a like a machete, but it's a curved grass knife, about as big as a machete on his waist. He's carrying a spear in his right hand. He's got a bow and arrow over his left shoulders. He's got a rib bone through his nose. He's got bones through his nipples. He's got vertebrae in his ears, like those gauge things. And dude, he's walking straight up to me. So I'm thinking, okay, what's his, you know, and I'm, you know, getting ready. He stops. He goes, "Pardon me, mate. Can I have a smoke?" And I was like, "Damn, you talk better English than I do." And I lit a cigarette, and he walks off. And then the girl's walking down the street with a serape, a little waistcloth on, tied around, and she's nursing a baby on one breast and a pig on the other. And I was like, oh, so then I go up, and then that's when they start telling me about the Rascals, and they still have cannibals there, and this, that, and the other. What? So the next day, I'm doing this autograph signing, and they got me in this little ring that's maybe 5 foot by 5 foot, you know, but it's got ropes on it and stuff. And I'm standing in, you know, and as people come by, I'm signing autographs. Well, after about an hour out, because I really crowned it up the night before, I got to go to the bathroom, get me something to drink. So I go to use the restroom, and I stopped to get a soda. When I went to get the soda, the people picked me up. And they carried me over their head. They got me all the way out to the big front iron gates at the soccer arena before the Australian Army comes riding in there with all their jeeps and stuff, transports. People jumping out, mowing people down with machine guns, shooting rubber bullets.
Oh my God.
They're beating them back. They're beating them back in the head with these clubs, like, you know, Rottweilers that you could have thrown a saddle on and rode out of there.
Wow.
There's Rottweilers grabbing people by the head, just clamping down on their head, dragging them off. So this major, he grabs me and he puts me in the transport, and he's sitting down there with me, and he goes, "Mate, you ever watch Boogs Booty?" Bugs Bunny? Bugs Bunny, yeah. He said, "You know the one with the Ethiopian?" And I was like, yeah. He said, "There was a big black pot in your future, mate."
And I was like, rabbit stew.
Yeah. And he told me that, you know, they believe that if you're a warrior or a fighter or something like that, and if they consume you, that spirit lives on to them.
They get your powers.
Yeah. They were ready to try that white meat baby face.
Oh, well, yeah. And I was going to tell them it tastes just like chicken. Yeah. But anyway,
they knew you'd been marinated in Crown all night.
Yeah. So 3 days later, me and Charlie Norris go to the store next door to the hotel, and they about got both of us. Army had to come get both of us that day. Wow. We hadn't been in there 3 minutes. Not even. We walked into the store, went to where the water. There was only one bottle. We said we're splitting it. We take it up to the thing, and when we turned around to walk out, there was like at least 3,000 people.
Wow!
It's like, and they wanted to eat us.
Wow, man, that's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
I'm in the ring. Oh, it ain't over yet. So I'm in the ring.
Awesome. Give it to me.
I'm in the ring. We're in Port Moresby now. The same arena that the people tried to take me out of. We're there. Now it's got wrought iron fence all around everything. I'm wrestling. Okay, it was me and Action Jackson, and we're wrestling Charlie Norris, my tag team partner. We're wrestling against Charlie and Killer Brooks. So the deal was we had to have 2 40-minute long singles matches and then a 40-minute long tag match. It was the deal. So, oh gosh. Anyway, so we're going to ring for the tag match, and I'm in the ring with Brooks, Killer Brooks, and I got him in a headlock, and there's a commotion going on. And I see, but I can't, it's hot. I mean, we're dying. It's 120 degrees. We're on the equator. So anyway, but I see something happen, and all of a sudden, about 100 yards, I don't know the length of a soccer field, but about 100 yards of wrought iron fence just falls in. And here comes a wave of people, tribes people.
Yeah.
So here comes the army, and they're heading them off before they get to ringside. I'm not kidding. So I was sitting there, I got Killer Brooks in the headlock, and I go to tag AJ, and so I put my hand back. He goes, "No, stay in there." And I hear this pat. Like, what the hell? I said, "No, tag me." I said, "Let me catch my breath." He goes, "Stay in there." I turn around, and he's hiding behind the ring post. He goes, "Sam, you're a smaller target than me. Stay in there." And then I heard the pop, but I saw the shotgun. I saw the fire come out of the shotgun, and that was the pellets landing on top of the metal roof. So I let the headlock go, and I went up and sat up underneath the ring. And I was there for about, 30, 45 seconds. And AJ drops down. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's a whole lot safer under here than it is out there." About that time, Charlie and Brooks and the referee were all sitting up underneath the ring watching this thing go down.
Jesus, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie scene. That whole
it is.
Shoot. Okay. They didn't tell us that we could take malaria shots, and that the mosquitoes had malaria. So we get over there. Well, can we get the shot? No, you can't get it here. It's like, well, damn. So what do we do? Well, if you drink this South Pacific beer, the mosquitoes don't like it. That's all you had to tell me in my drinking days.
Right,
so we start off the morning drinking beer all day long.
Twist my arm.
It was something, And then I sat in a chair that shattered, and they had to pump me up with a 17 cc's of lidocaine. I was at the hotel. I went to go sit down on the furniture by the pool.
Yeah.
The plastic, lawn chairs and everything.
Yeah.
I went to sit one. As soon as I sat down, it shattered like glass.
Yeah.
Well, I threw my left arm down, I catch myself, and when I did, I dislocated my shoulder. So I call him up and I tell him I can't work. And Terry Priest says, "Oh, you've got to. You don't understand." So they carried me to the hospital, pumped me up with 17 cc's of lidocaine, gave me all the over-the-counter Valiums and everything else you could take. Well, they didn't want to. They didn't want a riot or a war. It's like, you don't know what you're doing, giving me all this.
That's wild, man.
Oh, the first time I came out of the ring and I'm walking back to the dressing room, boy, I'm really spent. I've been in there 40 minutes, right? So coming out of the ring, I start passing through the people, and all of a sudden, bam! I got hit right in the face. Like, bam! Whoa! And then I get hit again, and then hit again. Well, I get my head down and I run back to the dressing room. And I asked the security guy, I said, "What the fuck's going on?" All right, I'm sorry. I said, "What's going on?"
Oh, you can cuss on here. You're fine.
So he said, "Oh, they're honoring you." I said, "What?" He said, "They see you doing that in the ring, so to show you honor, they're doing that to you as you come by them." I was like, okay. So I went and told the rest of the guys. I said, "This tag match, make sure you save something in you." And they, "Well, what are you talking about?" When I come back from that tag match, every head that popped up, that went down. I made my way. I honored them before they could honor me. The natives over there, they have a nut that grows on a tree. It's called beetle nut. And they take a mustard leaf, and they take lime that you put in the garden to kill snails. They put that on there, and then the beetle nut, and then they put it in their mouth, and they chew it, and they swallow the meat of the nut, but they spit the juice out, and it's a fluorescent red juice. You can tell. It looks like a glow-in-the-dark stop sign. Anyway, they do that. It gives them. They do this all day long. It gives them a cocaine high.
Wow.
And they live in Gilligan's Island. A lot of them live in like little Gilligan's Island huts. We'd go out on the balcony, and there'd be like 11 huts over here, 15, 16 over here, 20 or something over here. And you can tell the ones that have been remodeled because they're remodeled with beer boxes in the walls. But they look like Gilligan's Island grass huts and everything. And you get one guy come out of this group of huts over here, another guy come out, and they get in the middle of that field and just start whacking each other to death, killing each other.
Wow, man, that's insane. Now, for some context here, what year is this that this is going down?
Oh gosh, this was in I would say like 97, 98.
Really?
Okay. Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was just tripping out because I know I've been in some sticky situations in Puerto Rico, but nothing like this shit you're telling.
It was wild. I mean, it was wild.
Crazy.
Man.
And that's incredible, man.
This is not what I expected today.
Hey, you never know what to expect with me.
No, and I'm going to tell you something, man. Honestly, with Jimmy saying that, man, I'm going to tell you, I've had a shit weekend, and my morning has not started well, but since talking to you, I am in a much better mood at the moment. I promise you. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, let me give you, let me give you some advice. Oh, not some advice. Just let me give you a one-up or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, no matter what happens in your life, when stuff is bad and everything like that, and everything's all stacked up against you, know in your heart that you can do backward jumping jacks. Know that you can turn around backwards, and you do 2 or 3 jumping jacks. Boy, you can keep on walking. You know? Because a lot of people don't know they can do backward jumping jacks.
Yeah.
But now you know that you can do backward jumping jacks.
Absolutely. It's like a reset button for the day, ain't it?
Yeah.
I love that, man. That's amazing.
I do too. And there's no better way.
What's good is when somebody's having a bad day at Lowe's or something like that, and you tell the cashier and you give them that speech, and then you turn around and you do 3 or 4. Boy, it lightens everybody's day. That's what it's about. It's about encouraging each other to do the best you can and to be the best you can. You know, whenever I want to talk to somebody, I don't want to talk to a piece of crap. I want to talk to the best person I can.
Yeah.
You know, so it's time to man up and be that person.
Right.
If you're that person, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it, man, dude. And I'm telling you, I don't think there's any better way to take this to the house, man. This whole hour we've just spent with you. I mean, just that's a great top off to a great hour. There's one more, and these are words from Hector Guerrero. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hector Guerrero told me when I got in the business, I was having such a hard time and everything. And Hector was telling me that, it's for you too. You paid your dues too. He said, Sam, never be second best. Mm-hmm. That does not mean that I have to win every foot race or I have to, win every match. No, what he's telling me is never be my own personal second best. Always give it all of my effort.
Yeah.
Always be the best that I can be. And that's what I would encourage each and everybody else out there to do, is always never be second best.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Hey, well, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so
much, man.
Thank you.
And
enjoyed you.
Yeah, and if people want to reach out to me, come on, Michael Sam Houston or Sam Houston on Facebook. You'll catch me on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're working on a lot of things I want to do. I just bought the old Mid-South ring. There's a whole lot of family stuff involved, but I built this ring when I was 14 years old. And it's been sitting up here. Yeah, 30 years it's been sitting up here. My first father-in-law had it. And it's been sitting up here for 30 years. And then Bobby Fulton bought it. Well, I did some repairs on it last year. Well, I got it out here now. And I'll put it up in my backyard here. I'm kidding. Anyway, but anyway, expect a whole lot of stuff coming out of me.
All right.
That's awesome. We got to get a part 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you want.
Thank you, Sam.
Anytime you want, guys.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'd like to encourage everybody to help out Bart and do what you can. And if you want to get serious about that $1,000, there's only going to be these. There's only 22 left.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Great, Sam.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome,
Okay.
man. We appreciate you. My pleasure, man.
Mine too. Thank you guys so much.
Incredible, Jimmy. Now let's
Seriously.
take a break, man. I'm exhausted. Let's take a break and come back with Ask Wolfie Anything.
DJ, hit that music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. And first of all, Wolfie D, Sam Houston, did we even interview him?
I think he just came on and talked.
Yeah, and it was awesome, man.
Yes,
oh my God, dude. Like, seriously.
He had the heat on me for 30 minutes. I had to let you in, man.
I know. It wasn't even a hot tag. This was a save.
Yes.
I had to just break up the pin. There was nothing.
But no, I mean, that's awesome, man. It's,
seriously.
I'd rather have that than the opposite of someone
totally
comes on and I got to pull shit out of because
dude, and we've had that. Yeah. We've had both, but when it comes down to it,
Thank you again to Sam for coming on. That was great.
Yeah, it was incredible. I just feel like, oh my God, he's lived such a life that there needs to be a movie or something about that.
Yeah, some of those stories, man, it's crazy.
I know, bro.
Yeah.
I
walked away from that feeling like I have not lived, but
exactly. So I'm going to get out and live. Anyway,
Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, not going there. Papa Joe said my grandfather was eating.
He was eating a cannibals.
Whatever, yeah. Anyway, so all right. Well, our very first
Joe.
There you go. So our very first question for this episode is this one. It's from Cause Effect on Instagram, and this one's actually kind of funny, but it says, what other impersonations can y'all do? Wolfie's Tommy Rich and Jimmy's Red Fox are my favorites. So, Wolfie, what other impersonations are you good at?
Oh my goodness, man. Mine's kind of a spur of the moment thing. I can't really sit here and think of someone that I could do. I used to try to do. Everybody can do Macho Man, though. I used to do that when I was younger in school and stuff like that. And everybody can, brother Hulk Hogan, all that.
Of course, yeah.
But I'll do it like people that I know, like that I'm around all the time, and I can do them then. But if I'm not around the person a lot, I really can't do it, or I lose it even. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know, man. What else? Do you got some? I hate to disrespect this listener.
So I have the Red Fox, obviously. Hey, brother, how you doing? All right. And then I've got Kamala. I think I can do a pretty good Kamala. Anyway.
Pushing and pulling.
Yeah. Pushing.
If anybody has not looked up YouTube, Kamala pushing and pulling, please go look that up. It's him singing about Pat Patterson and all these people. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
Whoa, Undertaker. And I got hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. I got that one.
Hi. I can't do that one. Piggy.
And then there's let's see, Ebert.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Ebert, because they're kind of similar, right? Yeah, it's like Ernie.
It's Ernie's laugh.
I do a good Wolfie. Actually, I've developed a good Wolfie.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
No, it's a two-parter, so you need to talk. Just say a sentence, okay? Just say like a couple sentences.
One time I walked across an elk.
Let me ask you something real quick.
So I just butt in with that, right? That's my cutoff.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's funny because sometimes they'll be like wrapping up a story and they'll be like, kind of at the very tail end of it, and you're kind of like, okay, let's get on to the next one. Let me ask you real quick here. It's not that I can do your
sometimes, man. I got to take control of my show.
I'm just picking on you, man. I'm just picking on you, but yeah, I don't know. I think.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you are the one that's supposed to be asking me shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the best impersonation I can think of right now. Kermit the Frog's all right.
Yeah, Kermit's good. I like that one. I need to work on a Fozzie. Waka. I can't do it anyway. So, yeah. Well, my Red Fox is still the one. He still wins.
Let me ask you something, Red Fox.
Yeah. What you want to know?
Maybe I should have Red Fox on the show. Like,
oh my God.
I can't have the other guy.
Could I do a whole show? I think
I don't know. Can you?
Bees and disease to you. Remember that one episode where it's like, "Oh, buenos dias." He's like, "Bees and disease to you." Yeah. So that wow, that was horrible. I thought that would go better, but it was just me trying to. And Wolfie, I've learned that you have a good Kermit, man. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, you were Sesame Street kid. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, of course. So, okay, all right. Well, that one went different. So let's ask this next one. So, this one is of Men and Monkeys from YouTube, and he says, how important to you was your theme music to informing your identity as a wrestler? So, how important to you is theme music?
I think it's very important. I really do. In choosing something, for me, there had to be a lot of okay, so nowadays, and especially like on TV and stuff, as soon as your music starts, they want you out,
Right.
Nobody around. I used to like that part of it, the build up. You know what I mean? Like Enter Sandman or something was always good because it had that build up,
Oh, dude, go Hokies,
and then you come out,
yeah.
But they don't like that anymore. So, but yeah, man. I mean, think about it. There's so many people that have the theme music that you just know that music, man. And when it starts, it kind of gives you that feel good feeling, and that's what you're looking for.
Right.
Because if you can get them right then before you even walk through, winning, knowing it's half the battle or whatever.
Sure.
Say. So, super important, man. And I remember, a lot of people remember us using Hot Stepper and Gangster's Paradise and a few, Hip Hop Parade was the first one. But there was one night, Jamie was on a trip about, he was loving the song, what is it, Drops of Jupiter by...
Train.
And he's like, man, we need to use that. I'm like, are you fucking serious, bro? That has nothing to do with our gimmick, and it's not even like a upbeat, kick-ass song,
Yeah.
And so there was one night in Evansville where we worked singles, and he came out to it, and I was like, dude, you just had to be there to see that one.
I'm sure that was just weird, man. Can you do Jamie talking about it?
I don't know about that. My Jamie's gone to hell.
Your Jamie has gone to hell. Oh man, yeah. So that's pretty funny. I just can't imagine that. Or I just can't do him good anymore because he's kind of changed. His voice and his mannerisms have changed. It's gotten gruffer for sure. Yeah. His voice has gotten, I don't want to get into Red Fox there, but it's like, that kind of thing where, Jimmy, like we would ask him a question and he'd be like, I just did what I did. You know, I can't do a Jamie either, but you know, it's funny. Nick Nitros does a great Jamie. I don't know if
he talks like a normal.
Exactly. Yeah, but anyway, I just think like music has to be like, I cannot tell you how many times when I was growing up, I would go to local wrestling and I heard Here I Go Again on My Own by Whitesnake. That was like the wrestling song forever. And it would be like random dudes like, I made a mermaid walking down.
Oh, there was the music guy or whoever, you know, they used to come around and you got your music, you have your little cassette, and then it went to CDs, but the cassette time, I was bad about losing them, and also the music guys were bad about getting them back to you or putting them somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure
that you wasn't looking, instead of put it in your bag for you or on your bag, you know. But yeah, you'd have to be like, you know, they couldn't pull it up on a phone like they can now and play it. It was, if you didn't have something, you Jim, what do you got? What do you got?
Right.
I've got banjo fiddles and you know,
sure.
What's that called? Dueling banjo.
Yeah.
But they just have your random shit, and you'd have to pick the best one out of what they had if you wanted music.
Okay. I mean, dude, I believe that, and that would be horrible for you, right? Because you're like, why am I walking out to Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi?
Or you go to somebody else. Hey, has anybody got any music I can use? Kind of like tape.
Yeah. Dude. And y'all are like a hip hop centric team, so it's not like, you know, like you can go to Lawler and be like, Lawler, what do you got?
Right.
You can't touch this. Is that still hip hop? No, but I mean, was there one song that you really wanted that Jamie didn't like?
Nah, I don't think so.
So it was just the Drops of Jupiter from his side.
I was a no on that one.
Yeah, man, I was just digging on that at the time, brother, you know, and like, golly, maybe if there were like a rocked up heavy version of that song or something, you know, like by Disturbed or somebody, you know,
yeah,
Papa Roach or something, but still.
Just think of him walking out like that, and he was literally walking slow and like waving his arms, kind of like just how that sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that was Collective Soul that you just did there. Shine.
My bad.
Haven't let your light shine down. But that's, I mean, it would still.
Maybe that was the song. Hell, I can't remember. It was something like that. But I
think it was Drops of Jupiter.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I think it was. Yeah.
But okay, sorry.
You were giving it Collective Soul, but same kind of vibe, honestly.
Right.
Definitely.
You can see where the mishap occurred right there.
Definitely, definitely. But anyway, long story short.
Take some more Magic Mind.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in just a second, how you can do that. But with it being the way that it is, neither song would work for PG-13. I don't think.
No.
You know. But anyway, well, that was a good question. We definitely appreciate that one. The next one we've got is at Biffo316 on YouTube. This is a good question. He says, "How pivotal to the disciples of the new church was James Mitchell?"
Oh man, I mean, look at him. I mean. Yeah. If the devil had a human form, that's what I see right there.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of what he's supposed to be, is the evilest one of them all. And you know, he's controlling. They used to say that he's got some kind of mind control over these guys. You know, and so. Yeah, without him and God knows, man, he can talk like his ass off, man. So 100%, man. I mean, I'm not a bad talker. Brian ain't a bad talker, but Jim Mitchell, just his presence and his delivery and everything, man, it was awesome. I don't think it would have been as cool without him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The whole faction needed an evil leader, you know what I'm saying? An evil mind behind the brawn. If it's just you, and let's just say it's you and Brian Lee, y'all could end up killing half the promotion, and if you don't have someone holding your leash in a way, because you guys are so violent, let's pretend like that was your whole deal, was you're so violent, you need somebody that gets you out of that reptile mind kind of thing, where you're just automatically kill, destroy, whatever. Well, let's put a little sinister behind it, and and that's why I love him.
He referred to us. He didn't go lot of times he'd be like, my disciples or my killdozer, you know, that type of stuff. Like we weren't even, we were his, we weren't our own people even.
Yeah. So how, like, whenever who would come to you and tell you, like, here's the next deal for the next match? Who would do that?
Usually Jim.
Jim. Okay. So Jim would kind of be the middleman of the creative to you guys, basically.
Yeah. As far as that went, you know, if I had something I wanted to pitch, I might do it. But as you know, I've said 100 times, that kind of wasn't my deal. Unless maybe if I didn't like something, I would offer an alternative to someone. But I'm not hard to do business with.
Right. So I would, you know, not only was he a great front man and mouthpiece for you guys, he was also a great liaison for creative too, it sounds like. So that's awesome. And dude, I mean, that's all you can ask for with a manager. That's super cool. So,
do your management role too. I'm in the back.
Yeah. Well, you know, with a manager, it takes a great mind, right? So I guarantee, you know, if we were to go back in time, we could give Jim Mitchell some magic mind. You know, he could go to magicmind.com/livenincolor, and with the code livenincolor20, he could get 48% off his first subscription or 20% off with that code.
So can anyone listening.
Yeah, or any of you listeners. But can you imagine Jim Mitchell with Magic Mind? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
I've seen him fly high before, but that's on some other mind products.
Yes, mind altering. Yes, but anyway, with Magic Mind though, it's a clean, natural, safe, legal. No, it's a clean, natural, safe.
I mean, and you might say, "Dang, don't put him out there like that," but he's been on pay-per-view doing that, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel I've outed him in any ways.
Exactly. Yeah, but most importantly, you all can go to magicmind.com/livenincolor and get that same deal with code livenincolor20. And we love Magic Mind, and we thank them so much for sponsoring.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but that's all I got, Wolf.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, man, it's been quite the episode. It's been wild. The whole thing. I dig it, man. I hope everybody enjoys this episode as much as we did.
Yes,
has been great.
Me too. And by the way, Wolfie, I don't want to spoil anything, but I did just get confirmation of our next guest, so I'm very excited for who that is. He's an old friend of both of us, and we'll have a lot of fun with this one. We won't spoil it just yet, but good dude. So.
Okay, great. Well, that's a little weight off of both of our shoulders to know that we've got somebody lined up, because up until this point, we did not.
We did not.
I like having them booked up for a minute. I like that better.
We do too. Yeah. We definitely do. Yeah.
All right, brother. We will talk to you later. And once again, thanks everybody for listening, checking us out, pass it along. Say, hey, there's this great podcast I've been listening to. It's called Live in Color with Wolfie D. And it's a little bit different than your normal wrestling podcast. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
That's right, it's the Talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes, and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Join me, Gene Jackson, for the Jackson Interaction Podcast, where I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with people from the world of professional wrestling, as well as stand-up comedy. You can get them anywhere podcasts are available in both video and audio form, but you can find them all at genejacksonpod.com.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at Warren Wolf 13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap
for your dome.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color. From Rush, your mother, utilize a hubcap unlike any other. Back in the day, I was NOD, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip hop. Been doing it like this since '92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. Gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.